This is really a great honor tonight to be able to introduce Dr. Helen Caldicott. Few people have been a more articulate and passionate voice for citizen action than Dr. Helen Caldicott. From nuclear armament is, I'm still crying over that poem. I'm sorry, I can't tell you how moving that was. So I will try to keep my poise here. Helen has dealt with nuclear disarmament, environmental degradation, nuclear energy, lifestyle choices that we all make. And through all this, Helen has been one of those really prophetic voices and a visionary activist. She was born in Melbourne, Australia. She's a pediatrician by training. She founded the Cystic Fibrosis Clinic at Adelaide Children's Hospital, and she subsequently moved to the United States temporarily. She came to Boston in 1978, was an instructor in pediatrics at Harvard, and on the staff of Children's Hospital in Boston. But Dr. Helen Caldicott realized early in her training as a physician that her role extended well beyond the clinic and the hospital walls. In 1971, she played a major role in Australia's opposition to French atmospheric nuclear testing in the Pacific. In 1975, she worked with the Australian trade unions to educate their members about the medical dangers of uranium mining. When she moved to Boston in 1978, she called on other physicians to speak out against the medical consequences of nuclear war. Nuclear holocaust would be the final epidemic. The only prescription was prevention. The name assumed by this group of activists was Physicians for Social Responsibility, a then dormant organization which had been active in the early 1960s in publicizing strontium-90 in the teeth of young children from atmospheric testing of nuclear weapons. Helen is one of the few people that I know that has actually had a personal meeting with a sitting president in the Oval Office. We'll never know the impact of her meeting with President Reagan, but not long thereafter, the president began to say that nuclear war was unwinnable. And he and President Gorbachev started a series of meetings to reduce U.S. and nuclear arsenals. Helen went on to found the Women's Action for Nuclear Disarmament, WAND, the Nuclear Policy Research Institute, which became Beyond Nuclear, and STAR Foundation. She is the author of 8 books, including Nuclear Madness, Missile Envy, War in Heaven, If You Love This Planet, A Plan to Heal the Earth, and I think there's a recent edition of that, an autobiography called A Desperate Passion, Nuclear Power is Not the Answer, and The Medal of Dishonor, which talks about depleted uranium. Dr. Caldicott has received many prizes and awards for her work, including the Lannan Foundation's 2003 Prize for Cultural Freedom and 21 honorary doctoral degrees. She was personally nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Linus Pauling, himself a 2-time Nobel laureate. The Smithsonian Institute has named Dr. Caldicott as one of the most influential women of the 20th century. She has also been the subject of several films, including 8 Minutes to Midnight, nominated for an Academy Award in 1981, If You Love This Planet, which won the Academy Award for Best Documentary in 1982, and Helen's War, Portrait of a Dissident, which received the Australian Film Institute Award for Best Direction in 2004. Dr. Caldicott currently lives in Australia, but she lectures widely around the world, most recently in Germany. She can be heard discussing urgent planetary survival issues on her weekly radio show, If You Love This Planet, which is on Pacifica Radio. So, having said all that, it really is a distinct honor and a great pleasure to introduce a dear old friend, Helen Caldicott.